Imagine this scenario. The power goes out without warning, no explanation, just sudden, confusing darkness. You instinctively reach for your phone, only to realize it's as useless as a paperweight. There's no signal, no internet, no way to get answers. You step outside and it's the same story everywhere. Your entire neighborhood plunged into an eerie, unsettling silence. But let's take this a step further. What if the power didn't just flicker back on after a few hours? What if it never came back on? Picture your life without electricity, without running water, without the ability to just pop down to the grocery store for supplies. Imagine a world without the reassuring presence of emergency services just a call away. This isn't some dystopian fantasy, it's a real possibility. Power grids can and do fail, and sometimes they take a long while to come back online. We saw this in 2003, when a massive blackout hit the northeastern United States and parts of Canada. For some, the power was out for days. Now, imagine that on a global scale. A long-term, possibly permanent power outage. The comforts of modern life, gone in an instant. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? In this scenario, survival doesn't just become a concept, it becomes a reality. It's no longer about living comfortably, it's about living, period. It's about you and the skills you have or don't have to make it through each day. This isn't about fear-mongering. This is about preparedness. It's about understanding that our world is fragile, and so is our place in it. It's about realizing that when everything else is stripped away, all we really have is ourselves. It's about asking yourself a very important question. If the worst were to happen, if the lights went out and never came back on, would you be ready? Would you know what to do, where to go, how to survive? The question is, are you prepared when everything is stripped away? Survival comes down to 4 essential pillars. Without them, your chances of making it drop fast. These pillars, like the 4 legs of a chair, support you in surviving any situation, no matter how dire. First, we have water. It's the elixir of life, and without it, your survival clock starts ticking down. Even the most rugged survivalist can only last about 3 days without this precious resource. Next is food. It's not just about keeping your stomach full, but providing your body with the energy and nutrients it needs to keep going. In a survival scenario, food becomes fuel, essential for maintaining your strength and clarity of thought. Third on the list is shelter. It's more than just a roof over your head. It's about protection from the elements, shielding you from harsh weather, and providing a safe place to rest and recuperate. Finally, we have security. Not just physical security, but also mental and emotional security. It's about having the right tools, the right skills, and the right mindset to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your resources. Over the next few scenes, we'll delve deeper into each of these pillars, providing you with the knowledge and skills you need to become a true survivalist. And remember, it's not just about surviving, but thriving, even in the most challenging circumstances. Don't forget, we've got a fantastic giveaway at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that. And if you find this content valuable, consider giving this video a like and hitting the subscribe button. We're living in an unpredictable world, and the more prepared you are, the better your chances of weathering any storm. It's not just about knowing what to do when the grid fails. It's about being able to adapt, overcome, and emerge stronger on the other side. Stay ahead of the curve and start learning life-saving survival skills now. Pillar number 1 is water. Without water, survival is a ticking clock. The human body can only last about 3 days without water, but the effects of dehydration start to show long before that. You'll feel weak, dizzy, and your judgment will start to cloud. In a world where every decision can mean the difference between life and death, you can't afford to be anything less than 100%. That's why in a grid-down scenario, securing a source of clean drinking water becomes your most immediate concern. But where do you find water when the taps have run dry? And how do you make it safe to drink? Water is all around us, in the ground, in the air, even in the plants and the animals. But just because you found it doesn't mean it's safe. Clear-flowing water, while it may look clean, can be a cocktail of bacteria, parasites, and viruses. Drinking it without proper treatment can lead to serious illness. That's where water purification comes in. Boiling is one of the most effective methods. Just bring the water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute, and you've killed most harmful organisms. But what if starting a fire isn't an option? Maybe you're trying to keep a low profile, or maybe you just don't have the materials. In that case, filtration is your friend. Survival water filters like the soya or live straw can remove harmful biological organisms and even certain chemicals. With some sand, charcoal and cloth, you can even make your own filter. Rainwater is one of the safest natural sources of water. You can collect it using a tarp, plastic sheeting, or even large leaves. Morning dew can also be a lifesaver. Just wipe it off grass or leaves with a cloth. Snow and ice are also viable options, but remember to melt them first. Eating snow directly can lower your body temperature and speed up dehydration. When the grid fails, clean water isn't just a convenience, it's survival. Know where to find it, know how to purify it, and never take it for granted. Because without water, nothing else matters. Pillar number 2 is food. You can survive for weeks without food, but after just a few days, the effects of hunger set in. Your energy levels plummet, your thinking becomes foggy, and your decision-making abilities falter. In a survival situation, food isn't just about filling your belly, it's about keeping your body and mind strong enough to face the challenges ahead. Consider this. A grid failure doesn't just affect the electricity in your home, it disrupts the entire food supply chain. Supermarkets rely on power to keep their produce fresh, to maintain their inventory systems, and to conduct transactions. Farms rely on power for irrigation, livestock care, and crop harvesting. Factories need power to process and package food. Without electricity, this complex web of interdependency collapses and the food supply dries up. So, how do you ensure you have enough food when the grocery store shelves are empty? The answer lies in preparation and self-sustainability. Stockpiling non-perishable food items is a start. Canned goods, dried fruits, nuts and grains can last for years if stored properly. But storage space is limited and supplies eventually run out. That's where self-sustainability comes in. Knowing how to grow your own food is invaluable in a long-term survival scenario. A simple backyard garden can provide fresh produce and herbs. Even in an urban environment, container gardening is possible. And don't forget about foraging. The natural world is abundant with edible plants, fruits and nuts if you know where to look and what to look for. Hunting and fishing are also options, but remember they require skill and can be time-consuming. Smaller game, like rabbits and birds, are often easier to catch than larger animals. And insects, while not a traditional food source in many cultures, are rich in protein and relatively easy to find. Remember, when it comes to survival, food is more than just sustenance. It's a source of strength, both physical and mental. In a survival situation, food isn't just about staying full, it's about keeping your body and mind strong enough to make the right decisions. The last 2 pillars of survival are shelter and security. Let's start with shelter. When the grid goes down, having a shelter becomes a crucial part of survival. It's not just about having a roof over your head, but about having a safe and comfortable space that can protect you from the elements and potential threats. Shelter can come in many forms. Your home, if it's safe and secure, a tent or a makeshift structure in the wilderness, or even an abandoned building. The key is to make sure your shelter is sturdy, insulated, and can protect you from the weather. If you're outdoors, pick a location that's high and dry, away from falling branches or flooding. Your shelter should also be discreet, blending into the surroundings to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Now let's talk about security. Personal safety and protection become paramount in a blackout scenario. You're not just protecting yourself from the elements, but also from potential human threats. In a long-term grid-down event, law and order can quickly break down, and it's up to you to ensure your own safety. This means being aware of your surroundings, being cautious of strangers, and potentially learning self-defense or handling a weapon. It's also about securing your shelter, perhaps setting up perimeter defenses or alarms. And remember, security isn't just physical. It's also about staying mentally strong, making smart decisions, and not giving in to fear or panic. Lastly, don't forget about communication. In a blackout, you won't have the internet or cell service. Having a battery-powered or hand-crank radio can keep you updated on news or emergency broadcasts. When the grid fails, your shelter becomes your fortress and your security is your lifeline. Prepare, stay vigilant, and always be ready.